So what's a success you've had recently?
And I don't know if you'd call this a success or not, but I guess like we're not in the place yet, like looking for funding. We don't even have a product launched. We're like still in like very early like exploratory stages, and we already have like this like very, very large consulting company that wants to talk to us about possibly something. So the conversation is super early, but the fact that, I didn't pursue that as like a opportunity and it's kind of coming in my direction it's good. It feels good to kind of be in that situation.
It's actually very normal, a startup approach, particularly if it's your first startup, to find a strategic partnership like this so that you have the resources of a large company to execute.
Like, let's say the conversation goes deeper. I'm jumping the gun here, like in terms of like what would actually happen, because we're like super, super just starting conversation. But like in the case that they say, okay, we're willing to invest some capital and resources for you. What's like a reasonable amount to ask for in terms of money, and how much is the resources worth that they're offering, and what kind of resources am I looking for? I've heard a lot of stories about how a lot of startup founders, they get really excited when people offer them money and they take it and then they regret it.
I'll tell you what the generic advice is.
Okay.
When someone says if you're considering investment or not, the generic like Silicon Valley advice is 100% of nothing
is
nothing versus 50% of something,
Yeah.
right? I don't like that advice because it just obfuscates all of the details and logic that I just explained to you, right? It makes it sound like just take the money.
That's true. It does.
But you're not in a situation where you're desperate for the money.
Right.
That's a good position to be in. And you're absolutely right. You do not want to get investors that you do not like, that don't share your vision, that don't support you, believe in you. And going into your meeting with them, you should have a long list of questions on a notepad or on your computer or on your mobile phone, and just like really make sure like you know which questions you have to ask and which questions are interesting to ask.
Yeah, I think that I'm probably going to go and like do what you said, where I'm going to like ask a bunch of questions and kind of better understand it first.
So we could pause there and do a Lindsay answers questions on the internet for how should I prepare for a sales or business development call when I'm really not sure what the outcome or the context or where the conversation is going to go. Would you like that?
Yeah, like an investment conversation.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, so it's not really, because if they're thinking about potentially investing.
Okay.
So
investing or using your product?
Investing and providing resources. So it's more of an investment, like we would get a share of your company in exchange for resources.
So it's a strategic partnership. You should go into it with a research and question hat on, not a sales hat on, right?
Yeah.
So things that you want to know about them was like, how'd they hear about us and what did they like about us? What are they trying to accomplish that made them think to set this conversation up? Like understanding those are really essential questions at the beginning of any sales conversation. A good salesperson is a listener, not a talker. So go into it trying to figure out what their goals are, what hurdles they have that they think you could solve for them, where they would like to be a year from now, 2 years from now. That way you can figure out, one, do you align with what they align with, right? Do you guys want to end up in the same place? And two, you get kind of some information that'll help you give more detail to the project that you're working on so that you don't accentuate value propositions that don't matter to them. You hit the value propositions that will matter to them because they told you what their problems are and what their ideal solution is.